The operator of the Fukushima Daiichi has opened the central control room of the facility's number 1 and 2 reactors to the media for the first time since the 2011 accident. The room shows signs that workers on duty that day struggled in the dark.
On March 14th, 3 days after the earthquake, a hydrogen explosion blew apart the building that housed reactor number 3. The strong shock reached reactor number 2 as well. Darkness surrounded operators wearing masks and protective suits. Reactor number 2's cooling system was still operational at this point.
To get the power back on. The central control room, located next to the reactor buildings, is where workers struggled to contain the crisis 3 years ago amid rising radiation levels.
Venting was the last resort, and it was failing. The unimaginable was happening.
Another explosion has been heard at the Fukushima number 1 power plant. The blast was heard around 6 a.m. Japan time on Tuesday, coming from the number 2 reactor.
At Fukushima number 1 nuclear power plant, number 2 reactor, at 6:14 a.m., there was a blast heard near the suppression pool, and the pressure began to fall in the suppression pool. We are continuing the water injection into the pressure of vessels, but the operators who are not directly engaged in this operation are being ordered to be evacuated to safer locations.
The workers at the plant felt that without the proper support, preventing a meltdown was impossible.
Things that we needed the most didn't come at all. Really, what would you expect us to do under such circumstances? I know I shouldn't speak like this, but that's how we felt. People may say the explosion could have been avoided if we'd had this or that. Well, I'm afraid there's no end to such hypothetical arguments.
Japan lacked a system to deliver necessities to nuclear plants contaminated with radiation.
Radiation in the room just after the accident measured 1 millisievert per hour. Due to decontamination efforts, the level has since fallen to less than 1/150th of that figure. Numbers were scribbled on a wall next to a water gauge. It suggests how staff trying to monitor the amount of water inside the reactors couldn't write the figures down on paper in the darkness. A hydrogen explosion that occurred soon after the tsunami struck blew panels off the ceiling. Lighting fixtures remain exposed. The governing parties have just started to discuss a new basic energy plan for the country, but there are still many unanswered questions over Fukushima. In particular, it's still unclear why the workers couldn't properly vent off the pressure inside the containment vessel at reactor number 2. No clear picture has yet emerged of where and how the reactor and containment vessel were damaged, and why so many radioactive materials managed to escape.
途中の知らない街でよみがえる記憶がなぜか少し切ないお前をこんな街まで同じ道をたどっては戻